When I was in seminary, I took both a class on the wisdom literature, which I mentioned yesterday is where these next several books are placed in the Hebrew Bible, and I also had a whole class on the book of Psalms. And we each had to write a long research paper on a psalm of our choosing, and I chose Psalm 16, which is one of my favorites. And today's verse for today is the final verse of Psalm 16, verse 11, where the psalmist says to God, "You show me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. In your right hand are pleasures forevermore." Psalm 16 is a psalm of trust, and the psalmist talks throughout about how his relationship with God sets the course and the boundaries for his entire life. And I really appreciate Psalm 16 because it speaks about how the psalmist feels he has a goodly heritage and how the boundary lines have fallen for him in pleasant places. And the psalmist talks about how because he keeps God always before me, he stays on the right path. I want to encourage you today to take a look at Psalm 16 in its entirety. And I encourage you even to read it out loud. He talks about how the noble in the land are those in whom he places all his delight, and how important it is for us to have people we look up to as mentors and role models who are noble and who are worthy of our following them. That is part of what we all look to in Jesus, of course. But I come back to this final verse, and you see the three things that the psalmist concludes with. You show me the path of life. God's path is always going to lead us in the best way possible. And then later on, Jesus will say in John 14, I am the way and the truth and the life, echoing Psalm 16. And then you have this wonderful promise that in God's presence there is fullness of joy. And in God's right hand are pleasures forevermore that we will enjoy. I encourage you to read Psalm 16 today and to place your trust fully in God, who is more than worthy of our trust, our faith, and our obedience.